Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all to this month's Journal Club. Dr. Sabah Binte Kashmir, who is an assistant consultant in radiology in Maruf International Hospital, is going to present a case control study which was published in European Journal of Radiology in September 2020. To begin with, I will just give a brief definition of a case control study. You must all have known it already, just for the ones who are new. Basically, it's an observational study, and it's a study in which we compare the patients who have an interest of outcome of interest versus those who do not have an outcome of interest, and we see the look back retrospectively to compare how frequently the exposure to a risk factor is present in cases versus controls. So, Dr. Sabah, kindly come on stage.
Assalamualaikum. Thank you, Dr. Asma. I welcome all of you on behalf of the Radiology Department. Today I am going to present a very interesting article that will show the predictive value of CT in the short-term mortality of COVID-19 pneumonia in non-athletic patients. As she already told you that it is a case control study, and it was published in Journal of Radiology. Next slide. These are the different contents of this article that I introduced you during this presentation. I will tell you the introduction, clinical presentation, imaging implications, what is aim of this study, what techniques and methods used in this study, and case CT protocols they used, imaging interpretation, clinical and laboratory findings, results, discussion, and validation of study. In the analytical review of the study. As you all know about this unknown pandemic of COVID-19 pneumonia, it is called the severe respiratory syndrome, coronavirus, it is a strain of coronavirus. And first cases were found in the city of China, Wuhan, in December 2019. And there is globally now more than 1 million cases are found in the world, and 34 million cases are confirmed now. In this current IR rate was recognized as pandemic by the WHO in March 2020. Few studies have been done to find the demographic characteristics and to predict the clinical mortality of the patients, like patients' age, ethnicity, and various underlying genetic conditions. This disease of COVID-19 pneumonia was initially thought that it is entirely non-fatal in healthy, non-elderly patients, but reports from around the world are opposing this statement. Now, if you can identify the CT predictors of mortality in non-elderly healthy patients without underlying medical conditions on admission, this will definitely aid the clinicians to find the most vulnerable patients in this age group and alter the management from the start. A dedicated case control study has not yet been performed for the assessment of radiological prognostic factors in COVID-19 pneumonia. Furthermore, and upon literature review, no study has specifically focused on imaging analysis of COVID-19 pneumonia in healthy non-elderly patients. Clinical presentations, as you all know, there are a lot of clinical presentations of COVID-19 pneumonia. Most common symptoms are respiratory symptoms. But that complication may be various cardiovascular symptoms, GIT symptoms, and in significant minority of patients can present asymptomatic throughout their illness. And interesting symptom which is reported from around the world is loss of smelling taste, anosmia, hyposmia, achusia, and dysusia. These are interesting symptoms. Imaging implications, as you all know, that CT is not routinely used to diagnose COVID-19 pneumonia. There are definitely certain implications which are according to ACR guidelines to perform CT scan with COVID-19 patients. These indications generally include suspected ET over cases and diagnosis is important. The follow-up of the disease and clinical progression of the disease, and imaging is also indicated in COVID-19 pneumonia patients when they develop respiratory distress. And imaging is indicated for medical trials of patients with suspected COVID-19 pneumonia who present with moderate to severe hearing diseases and high pretest probability of the disease. Now, aim of this study is important because aim is to evaluate the prognostic value of multiple diseases which we see on the reporting on initial presentation in non-elderly patients without pre-existing underlying medical conditions. It was hypothesized that initial CT findings may reliably predict the short-term mortality in young healthy patients with COVID-19 pneumonia. The data we have used in this study it was a case control study, so this retrospective study was conducted between 2020 and April 19, 2020 at Sheffield University Hospital, Kashmir University, Iran, which was a disease epicenter in the country. Now, the including criteria of the study was in young patients aged 50 years or younger were included in the study. These all patients have laboratory confirmed COVID-19 pneumonia and underwent non-contrast CT scan on admission and expired with COVID-19 pneumonia within the following 30 days after admission. Patients who were having any underlying medical conditions like cardiovascular diseases, hypertension, pulmonary disease, renal or immunocompromised status, diabetes, mellitus or cancer, these all patients were excluded from the study. Only healthy patients were included in the study. Ultimately, 30 patients were enrolled in the study, and these 30 patients were recalled in cases. To design case control analysis increase in the power of the study, a 1 to 2 case control ratio was used with 60 control subjects individually matched on their age and sex. Cases were 20 and controlled at 60. 1 to 2 making 1 to 2 ratio, so the underlying medical condition of controls on the initial presentation was similar to the cases, means they were both having underlying medical conditions. But following confirmation of COVID-19 pneumonia and performing non-contrast test CT, pneumonia was clinically improved within the 30 days follow-ups in patients in the control group, and they were discharged from the hospital. All patients in the cases and control group received a standard institutional care. Both groups received the same treatment. And that also includes the administration of subcutaneous prophylactic heparin. This is protocol that was used to perform the CT in these patients was using a multi-detector CT scanner with the following acquisition parameters. Tube voltage was 120 kV, tube current was 50 to 90 milliampere with automatic exposure control, slash thickness was 3 and pitch factor was 1. And CT images are performed with the patient lying in supine position and without administration of intravenous contrast. Image interpretation was done by 2 radiologists with 5 and 7 years of experience. And these CT images were reviewed independently with a consensus approach on CAD system, picture archiving and communication system. The admitting CT which was performed that was interpreted by them. All included test CTs are coded randomly and anonymized by personnel who were not involved in reading the study to make the results blind in terms of the final outcome. For each patient, first the chest X-ray and then the chest CT were interpreted. All CT images were reviewed both using both lung window and medial scanner window. These findings are very interesting for the clinicians because you all must be interested to know that what we see in patients in COVID-19 pneumonia. These are preliminary findings, different findings. These are described according to the Fletcher Society of Glossary terms of thoracic imaging. These findings, most common findings seen in patient COVID-19 pneumonia, ground glass opacities. And with or without intraluminal septal thickening, which is also called crazy paving, consolidation, reverse halo or other findings of COVID-19 pneumonia, linear, curvilinear or bilinear opacities. Infected pulmonary lobes, 3 lobes are in the right lung, right upper, right middle, and right lower lobe, and left upper and left lower lobes. We see each lobe individually. The laterality of the lesion was also recorded, and the distribution of the lesion was classified as peripheral and central. Peripheral lung is classified as outer 1/3 of the lung, and inner 2/3 of the lung is called the central lung. And this lesion location of the lesion was described. Anterior and posterior limbs were defined utilizing the horizontal line which divides the lung into anterior and posterior halves. Further, the reader also assessed the presence of bronchogram, pleural and pericardic lesions. These are least common findings in COVID-19 pneumonia, but when they are present, they are definitely recorded. Also, indications such as CT in patients with COVID-19 pneumonia in these cases are also noted. This series variety scoring is very interesting and helpful for the clinicians because on the basis of this you will know the extent of pulmonary involvement and the severity of disease in every patient. This is a semi-quantitative scoring system which is used to estimate the extension of pulmonary involvement. In this scoring system, each pulmonary lobe is immediately seen and scored from 0 to 4. 0 means no involvement. 1 to 25% of the lobe involvement means score 1. 26 to 50% of involvement is scored as 2. 51 to 75% involvement is scored as 3. And 76 to 100% involvement means that score is 4. And 0 score total, and these scores scores from each lobe are added together, and total score of 0 means normal, and total score of 20 means maximum involvement. And score can be in between any of these. Different clinical and laboratory findings which are recorded in these patients included duration of hospitalization, length of symptoms onset to initial chest CT, ICU admission, oral tracheal intubation, type of dominant symptom and presentation, whether it was fever, cough, dyspnea, fatigue, myalgia, or shivering, oxygen saturation on admission. These clinical findings are recorded in both patients in cases and controls. In laboratory findings including leukocytosis, the WBC count more than 11,000 per microliter, lymphopenia with lymphocytes count less than 1,000 per microliter. These ESR, CRP levels, and other findings like clinical tobacco use was also asked for from these patients. Administration of drugs during admission in the hospital was also recorded. And BMI was calculated in each individual in cases and control groups. And patients were categorized as normal when BMI was 18.5 to 24.9 kg per meter square, overweight when BMI was 25 to 29.9 kg per meter square, and obese when BMI was equal to or more than 30 kg per meter square. Statistical analysis regarding individual matching in study design and to explore each CT scan findings and to determine BMI as predictor of patient outcome, mortality versus discharge as binary variable. Conditional logistic regression model was applied. First univariate model was applied and significant predictors were determined. In the next step, multivariate conditional logistic regression model was applied, which used the Farber method to evaluate the goodness of the fit of the model. So the R2 statistic was calculated and prediction power of the model was checked by measuring the correlation between the predictive value and the dependent variable. P-area of less than 0.05 was considered pseudo R2 as goodness of fit measure of the model, was calculated 0.77 in the acceptable range. The prediction power of the model was calculated 0.88 with intercorrelation of dependent variable and model prediction. To assess the power of the CT severity score as a continuous variable to predict mortality, ROC curve was depicted. The graph showed the acceptable power of variable with AUC equal to 0.89. The ROC curve is interesting. It showed that score of 7.5 is the cutoff on the CT severity scoring with the higher sensitivity of 0.83 and specificity of 0.87. Thus, that means that a score of equal to or more than 7.5 can distinguish 83% of patients who will expire, and a score of equal to or less than 5 distinguish 87% of patients who will discharge in a 30-day follow-up. The cases were 30 expired COVID-19 patients and controls were 60 discharged matched pairs of COVID-19 patients in a 30-day follow-ups. 18 males and 12 female patients with a mean age of 44.2 plus minus 5.9 were in the case group, and 36 males and 24 females with a mean age of 44.3 plus minus 5.9 were in the control group. Mean BMI in the case and control group were 26.9 plus minus 3.5 kg per meter square and 24.5 plus minus 2.8 kg per meter square respectively, with p-value of less than 0.05. 20 of the 30 patients in the case group that equals to 66.7%, and 26 after 60 patients in the control group, 33.3% were obese or overweight. P-value less than 0.05. Now you can see that more obese patients are seen in the case group. Detailed clinical, laboratory, medication, and radiological features in both cases and control group are summarized. I will show this table later on. Applying a conditional logistic regression model and by utilizing the univariate analysis, it was revealed that bilateral lung disease, anterior involvement, central extension, ground loss opacities, consolidation, air bronchograms, pleural effusion, BMI equal to or more than 25 kg per meter square, and CT severity score were all significant predictors of mortality with p-value of less than 0.05. This was univariate analysis. But when multivariate regression analysis was performed using forward method, it was determined that only CT severity scoring is a statistically significant predictor of mortality, with odds ratio of 1.99, confidence interval of 1.01 to 4.06, and p-value of less than 0.05. That means that a score of 1, if it is increased in CT severity, total CT severity scoring, the odds of death increase by 1.99 times. The univariate and multivariate analysis I will show in the table as well. These are different clinical, laboratory and medication data which was recorded in patients in both groups, in cases and control groups. This is clinical data which was recorded duration of symptoms to initial CT, fever, cough, dyspnea, fatigue and myalgia, shivering, tobacco use, oxygen saturation on initial presentation, duration of hospitalization, ICU admission, intubated or not. This was clinical data, and laboratory data included leukocytosis, lymphopenias, ESR, and CRP. Medication which were used in both cases and control both groups. These included hydroxychloroquine, lopinavir and ritonavir, ribavirin and tamiflu. These CT features are already described that different pulmonary findings which are found in COVID-19 pneumonia, and these findings are shown in the table. Along with that, we also noticed that whether they are found in the peripheral or central location, laterality of the lesion, they are in the anterior or posterior lobes, the peripheral or central, ground loss opacities, consolidation, crazy paving, reverse halo, air bronchograms, reticular opacities, pleural effusion, abnormal chest X-ray presentation as they reported chest X-ray first before reporting CT scan. Pericardial effusion and CT severity scoring. This is the univariate and multivariate analysis performed in both groups. You will see that in univariate analysis, all of these features on CT scan and including the body mass index. Body mass index, bilateral lung disease, anterior lung involvement, central lung extension, ground loss opacities, consolidation, air bronchogram, pleural effusion, and obesity. All of these factors have p-value of less than 0.05, 0.01, less than 0.01 in univariate analysis. So all of these they are predicting mortality during univariate analysis. But in when multivariate analysis was done, it showed that only the CT severity score has p-value of less than 0.05. It is 0.04. Rest of all of these findings are have p-value of more than 0.05, means that they are not predicting mortality in multivariate analysis. This is the RFC curve that I already described, that it is showing the sensitivity of 83% and specificity of 87% in predicting the mortality, and score equal to or more than 7.5 it means that 83% will expire, and less than 7.5 means that 87% will recover in 30-day follow-up. This is the HRCT chest image coronal section of a patient in the case group. He was scored 18. And all 5 pulmonary lobes are involved, but due to ground loss opacities, you can see that none of the lobe is spared, and this patient expired in a 30-day follow-up. This is the HRCT chest and the coronal section image of the patient in the control group. He was scored 5 according to CT severity scoring, and he was discharged in a 30-day follow-up and recovered completely. This study was first published case control investigation of COVID-19 pneumonia in the literature, which comprehensively focuses on initial CT features to predict mortality in non-elderly patients with no underlying medical conditions. Statistical analysis reveals a good power to the study with high willingness to fit. This study also showed that CT severity scoring, representative of the extent of lung parenchymal involvement, can reliably predict mortality in young healthy patients with COVID-19 pneumonia. This finding also emphasizes that during reporting COVID-19 pneumonia, CT reporting COVID-19 pneumonia, we should include the number of lobes involved and degree of extension of pulmonary involvement. Morphological and locational patterns like it is peripheral location, central, anterior or posterior patterns all must be described. The extent of disease can be qualitatively reported as mild, moderate or severe. A few recent retrospective observational studies have investigated CT features in clinically ill patients in severe form of COVID-19 pneumonia. He et al. Reported in his study that extension of the disease, pleural effusion, interlobular septal thickening, we also call crevitating, air bronchogram are more common in severe form of the disease. Prior studies also demonstrated that consolidation, air bronchogram, central lung involvement, pleural effusion and crevitating are more common in ICU admitted patients and expired patients. In this statistically stronger case control study based on multivariate regression analysis, none of these morphological and locational features were significant predictors of mortality in young, healthy, non-elderly patients. Younger patients as depicted in this study are otherwise healthy most of the times and may present with mild dyspnea or low-grade fever, but they may deteriorate later in the course of the disease. Hence, the finding on initial CT will aid the clinician in triaging this specific group of COVID-19 pneumonia patients. They will definitely get benefit from more intensive care. When the lung parenchymal involvement is high, even when they are clinically asymptomatic or have mild form of the disease. CT severity score equal to or more than 5 has 7.5 has higher sensitivity and specificity in the ROC curve to predict mortality. The range of this score varies from 0 to 20 according to CT severity scoring. A score higher than 7.5 is at the range of means the moderate to severe lung parenchymal involvement. This also highlights the hypothesis that young patients with mild to silent clinical symptoms may have moderate to severe lung extension involvement on initial CT scan. So that is a pertinent criteria that should be related to the clinicians because this puts this group of patients in a higher triage and care priorities. This study also shows that statistically higher BMI in the case group in comparison to the control group with more overweight and obese patients. Although BMI of equal to or more than 25 kg per meter square was a significant predictor of mortality in univariate analysis, but it was not significant during multivariate analysis. The dedicated etiological study in larger number of cases in different age groups is warranted to investigate predictability of this factor, obesity. Obesity has been reported as independent risk and prognostic factor for disease severity and requirement of advanced medical care in COVID-19 pneumonia. Another study performed by Chloe et al. Concluded that morbid obesity is an independent risk factor for mortality in COVID-19 pneumonia in hospitalized patients under the age of 50 years, which was the same age as in this study group. Obesity can restrict the ventilation by impeding diaphragm excursion and reduces protective cardiorespiratory reserve. It also impairs immune response to viral infection and is pro-inflammatory, so it can mediate progression to critical illness and organ failure in proportion of patients with COVID-19 pneumonia. Now I will describe limitation of this study which are found. One of the limitations of this study is only a small number of patients were included in the case group. Only 30 patients were included in the cases. Although CT severity scoring was statistically significant CT predictor of mortality in multivariate analysis, but if we can do larger studies, which they can demonstrate other CT predictors as well. Also, this study used a subjective semi-quantitative system to calculate the score of each load, which can be substituted with a more quantitative computerized method later in the studies. It is notable that predictive power and diagnostic value are determined cutoff. In addition to the accuracy of the test depend on the prevalence of the mortality in the study population, and therefore future studies are warranted in this different settings. Another limitation of this study is that it has evaluated 30-day mortality predictors, while some COVID-19 pneumonia cases may still be in the hospital for more than 30 days after their admission, especially when they are in the old age. And patients, although in this study all patients expired within 30 days after admission in the case group. How the sector guidance us to do long study the long period follow-up. This is the conclusion of this study that concludes that CT SWOT scoring is reliable predictive factor of mortality in known and only previously healthy individuals with COVID-19 pneumonia. Assessment of disease extension in addition to the morphological pattern is necessary for CT reports of COVID-19 pneumonia, and this will help the clinicians for the management of this specific group of patients even when they are clinically silent. Thank you. Now I will call Dr. Asra for critical appraisal to study.
Any questions about that?
Thank you very much. Just one question. This doesn't mention the time CT was performed, because if somebody comes with 2 days history of disease and you perform a CT, the pattern will be different than somebody coming at 10 days of disease, the pattern will be different.
Sir, it was recorded in initial presentation, length of symptoms before initial CT, before first CT that were recorded for each patient.
That was not standardized for all patients.
I think they have standardized everything. They according to.
The study there's no mention of disease duration.
Sir, in the first table 1, it was told that length of symptoms to initial CT was recorded in each patient. There must be some difference, of course. Duration of symptoms at this.
8 days है और 9 hours है. It's like this है that. If scanned earlier,
Yes, sir.
the disease may not show up as if it is showing it here.
Yes, of course, it is a flawed study. Any other question?
Yes. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Sabah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Gigi, Sabah, thank you very much for this presentation. My sort of a very simple question is, how we are going to put this data. I know it has got his own limitation. It's a case control study, but it's an interesting one because we are seeing a lot of patients, especially recently, with very few symptoms and having very gross CT scan findings on CT scan with suspected COVID and even with a negative COVID PCR test. So how do you think we should sort of clinically, work around that? Because score of 7.5 we can easily achieve in almost, I would say, half of our patients we see nowadays. And do you think from the data we have so far, it has got any implication on the long-term clinical status of the patient, especially in regards to lung fibrosis, which some people can develop with the COVID pneumonia?
Sir, when score is, we do a different scoring in our department that is also according to the RSMA guidelines. We assess each and every segment of each node. There are 10 segments in the right line and 8 segments in the left line. We score add the score from each segment, and the total our scoring system is 40. Score is 40, and we according to this study, more than 7.5 score is severe and less than 7.5 score means mild disease. But when we do scoring, we call more than 20 score. Our total score is 40. And we call more than 20 or 25 is in the moderate to severe disease, and less than 20 and less than 15 is in the mild disease. And so there is no evidence that these patients will develop fibrosis later in the course of the disease. Most of the times, complete healing is seen, as we also following patients with COVID-19 pneumonia. And we have seen patients with very bad CT scan on initial CT, but with very good healing, with almost complete resolution of the disease later in the follow-up scans. And there is also no literature evidence that they will develop fibrosis later in the course of the disease. However, young patients and the patients who are asymptomatic, they can have severe disease on CT scan. They have, I don't know how they can be diagnosed without symptoms.
Yeah, and I think I agree with you, Sabha. I think it's a dilemma for us as clinicians, because I think in the last few days I've seen quite a few patients who are COVID PCR negative, but their CT scan, and this is something you must and everybody would have seen as well. So I think the main sort of dilemma for me is because most of them, they don't want any hospital admission at all. And if you're categorizing someone with moderate to severe disease, then, as per recent guidelines, you have to sort of admit them and give them the recent sort of medicine, which have been like remdesivir. So I think it's a bit of a challenging task and work for all of us. And I hope let's see if the second wave, especially for Pakistan, should settle down like it was, it has been in May, June as well. So let's see how it unfolds. Thank you very much, Sama.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? Sir, would you like to say something before we proceed on to the critical appraisal?
एक वाइड चीज है, अगर आप वो मल्टीवेरिएट और यूनिवेरिएट एनालिसिस
Statistical analysis on the slide.
ये वाली so if you look at univariate analysis, most of the lung findings, be it consolidation or intervallar septal thickening or GPO or whatever you want to comprehend, most of them were significant, right?
Yes, sir.
Along with the CT score.
Yes, sir.
So इसको ना हम ऑटो कोरिलेशन कहते हैं, जैसे कि CT स्कोर में भी आप वही पढ़ रहे हैं और उसे ग्रेड कर रहे हैं। तो ये यूनिवेरिएट एनालिसिस जो है बहुत ज्यादा कोई इसमें मतलब कोई सेंस नहीं बनती है। वी नो कि ऐसा ही होना था, जब आपने डालना था इसको मल्टीवेरिएट एनालिसिस, रिमेंबर कि दिस इज व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू डू। यहाँ पे हम कंपाउंडिंग देखने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, तो कि आपने यहाँ पे सिर्फ एक चीज देखने की कोशिश की, लेकिन बहुत सारी चीजें जैसे इन्होंने कहा था ना ड्यूरेशन, इसी तरह की मॉडल की जो आप ड्यूरेशन फिटिंग करते हैं तो बाद में हम ये भी फिगर आउट कर सकते हैं कि क्या मोर्टेलिटी जो है के अंदर कोई कंपाउंडिंग फैक्टर तो नहीं है। तो ये यूनिवेरिएट एनालिसिस में सारी ऑटो कोरिलेशन होगी। आप सीटी स्कोर में वही चीज पढ़ रहे हैं, जहाँ से यही होना था कि सीटी स्कोर में इमेज को सेपरेट कर देना था, तो जो मॉडल में कर ये इम्पोर्टेंट इसमें फाइंडिंग।
यस सर।
बाकी भी डिस्कस वन स्पीच।
तो मेरा अपना एक क्वेश्चन है जो कि बाद में शायद डिस्कशन होगी। अगर हमें मतलब ऑब्जर्वेशन स्टडी ही करनी थी, इसमें वो कोहॉर्ट स्टडी भी बेटर कि उसमें हम सीटी सेवेरिटी शुरू में डिटरमिन कर लेते, उसको ओवर टाइम पीरियड फॉलो करते और फिर देखते कि किसमें मॉर्टेलिटी
और बड़ी आसानी से हो सकती है। लेकिन कोई बात है कि फॉर एग्जांपल दे मस्ट हैव थॉट इट, उसका ख्याल होगा कि चलें केस कंट्रोल जल्दी हो जाएगी और फिर भी, लेकिन व्हेन इट कम्स टू कंफ्यूजन, so classical cohort is much better designed in these kind of situations and pandemic की setting, लेकिन pandemic setting में बात दफा कहते हैं ना cohort, लेकिन यहाँ पर इतने लोग थे कि हो सकती है। तो ठीक है, मतलब we can always figure out later on। दूसरा केस कंट्रोल में एक चीज आपने हमेशा बतानी है, वो भी डॉक्टर कसवाई मेंशन करेंगे, ऑड्स रेशियो क्या, चाहे वो क्रूड हो चाहे वो एडजस्टेड एनालिसिस के जरिए हो, जैसे कि और हमें बताते हैं कि odds of dying कितना है if you have these kind of CD finding versus this kind of CD finding। P value हमें वो चीज नहीं बताते, और तो कहीं ना कहीं इन्होंने किए होंगे और
जी सर, एक स्लाइड में बताया मैंने और जी सर। कौन सी वाली
इसको आप क्लोज करेंगे
क्रॉस करके अच्छा। This is a critical appraisal worksheet for a case control study. Section 1 deals with the validity of the trial. So the first question is, did the study address a clearly focused issue? So the question here was a predictability of CT severity
in predicting the mortality, basically, in non-elderly young patients. So, इसमें क्या कर सकते हैं? Yes. Let me say that yes. Is this the unanimous answer? Yes. Did the authors use an appropriate method to answer this question? I think this is what we were discussing. That it could have been much better if it were a well-designed cohort study, because we had a lot of patients of COVID, and we could have easily done a cohort study.
यहाँ पे एक और यहाँ पे कह रहे हैं इस स्टडी में केस कंट्रोल की मेथोडोलॉजी के बारे में ये बैकग्राउंड लिखा हुआ है. Is a case control study an appropriate way of answering the question? यहाँ पर हम कह सकते हैं कि शायद वो बहुत बड़ी बात आ जाती है, लेकिन स्टडी क्वेश्चन तो उन्होंने बड़ा एड्रेस किया. इन्होंने मोर्टेलिटी लिया और वैसे होता है कि केस कंट्रोल स्टडी में आप एक आउटकम को सिलेक्ट करते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल आपने कहा कि बहुत ही सीवियर कोविड पेशेंट में मोर्टेलिटी, उसको आपने ये केसेस हैं आपने, फिर आपने उनके साथ एज के साथ मैच किया, जेंडर के साथ मैच किया, कुछ और मैचिंग की और कंट्रोल किए. ये कंट्रोल जो है क्लासिकली मैच से ज्यादा रिस्ट्रिक्टेड कंट्रोल, दे आर नॉट मैच कंट्रोल. मैच इन्हें कहते हैं जो कि आमतौर पे पेयर्ड होते हैं, ये पेयर्ड नहीं है. तो वहाँ पर उन्होंने कहा कि चूंकि पेयर्ड नहीं है बात, तभी उन्होंने वहाँ पर जो रेशियो रखा हुआ है ज्यादा कंट्रोल किया. लेकिन दो चीज देखी कि एज ग्रुप वही हो और जेंडर जो है चीज कुछ मैच करता है. तो कुछ पार्शियली पेयर्ड पता नहीं पेयर्ड एनालिसिस किया, पेयर्ड एनालिसिस किया नहीं, लेकिन जो एनालिसिस है उसमें फिगर नहीं उन्होंने किया. तो ऐसा कर सकते हैं. तो आउटकम तो हो गया मोर्टेलिटी. बैक इन टाइम यानी रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव ये देखने की कोशिश की कि सीटी फाइंडिंग क्या है, जो कि बाय डेफिनेशन यहाँ पर इसको शायद ये एक्सपोजर कहने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. तो क्लासिकल केस कंट्रोल आमतौर पे कोई रिस्क फैक्टर देखिए, रिस्क फैक्टर काफी नहीं है. तो रिस्क फैक्टर टर्न्स आउट के इट इज द सेवेरिटी ऑफ द स्कैन फाइंडिंग एज अ रिस्क फैक्टर. तो अगर आप कैसे इंटरप्रेट करेंगे तो फिर शायद समझना आसान हो कि शायद ये केस कंट्रोल.
So
you're right. सही कहा कि cohort would have been a better option, लेकिन क्योंकि ये हो गई.
were the cases recruited in an acceptable way? Selection bias की यहाँ पे ये लोग बात कर रहे हैं. तो सर इसमें तो थोड़ा सा बायस इसमें आ ही जाता है कि ऑलरेडी हम मोर्टेलिटी उन लोगों को सिलेक्ट कर रहे हैं who have died, so थोड़ा सा प्रिडिक्टेबल ये होगा. ऑब्वियसली उनमें सिवियर डिजीज थी.
आउटकम तो मोर्टेलिटी देखा और वो जाहिर है सिवियर डिजीज थी. उसको कंपेयर तो हम रिलेटिवली नॉर्मल लोगों से करें, वो रिलेटिवली नॉर्मल इस ग्रुप में वही हो सकते थे जो शायद सर्वाइव किए थे. तो क्योंकि उनकी एज वेज सारी चीजें मैच हो, शायद ये वाला बायस जो है तो थोड़ा कम करने के लिए उन्होंने दो कंट्रोल दिए, सिलेक्शन बायस करने के लिए और बाद में दो.
सेकेंडली सर थोड़ी सी स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन रिक्रूटमेंट में हिस्ट्री की बेसिस पे भी शायद हो सकती थी. वही सर की जो बात थी, प्रेजेंटेशन अर्लियर प्रेजेंटेशन है, लेट प्रेजेंटेशन है, तो प्रॉब्लम इसमें भी थोड़ा सा इम्प्रूवमेंट.
यही लिमिटेशन बहुत सारी बातें उन्होंने नीचे लिखी थी. सिलेक्शन बायस है, रिकॉल बायस है.
Were the controls selected in acceptable was similar? Exactly.
Whereas the controls, they were already right before they were in the hospital. So the intervention may have made the difference in that age group.
इंटरेस्टिंग बात ये कि किसी को भी रेमडेसिविर नहीं मिल रही है, रोटेनाविर मिल रहा है, बुलोपेनाविर मिल रहा है, टैमिफ्लू मिल रहा है, जो हम जानते हैं कि इफेक्टिव नहीं है. तो वो थोड़ा सा ऑफसेट वहाँ से बैलेंस हो जाता है कि हमारी वैसी थेरेपी इवन स्टेरॉइड्स नहीं मिलेंगे.
अप्रैल की सर ये डेटा सारा अप्रैल से पहले का है.
पता नहीं था क्या हो रहा है, क्या सब तुक्का चल रहा था इन टर्म्स ऑफ थेरेपी एक्सेप्ट फॉर ऑक्सीजन में. वो एक या बाईपैस या नॉन इन्वेसिव वेंटिलेशन या एंटीबायोटिक्स.
Was the exposure accurately measured to minimize the bias? CT scan.
एक्सपोजर वही था शायद CT स्कैन जो हुआ था और फिर उसको हमने कैसे ग्रेड किया वो आपने बाकी चीजें आप देख सकते हैं। कोई उन्होंने बोला टेम्पोरल रिलेशनशिप की बात की, ब्लाइंडिंग की बात
उन्होंने
रिपोर्ट किया
दो डिफरेंट है।
ब्लाइंडेड से लेकिन उन्होंने इंटर-रेटर जो वेरिएबिलिटी है या कैपा है वो रिपोर्ट नहीं किया। वो एक छोटा सा मेजर होता है जो बता देता है कि दोनों की ब्लाइंडिंग के बाद आपस में कोऑर्डिनेटर की रिपोर्टिंग, तो लेकिन उन्होंने कहीं ना कहीं डिस्कशन के साथ सॉर्ट आउट किया, ही मेंशन है।
Aside from the experimental intervention, were the groups treated equally? More or less, yes. Due to time, specific. ईरान में।
तो जेनेटिकली प्रॉब्लम सारे इंडियन के लोग होंगे, एनवायरमेंटल हमें पता नहीं है और सोशियो इकोनॉमिक का भी खास लेकर नहीं है, लेकिन चांसेस ये हैं कि शायद होमोजेनस कॉम्पोजिशन।
मैंने डिस्कशन में भी मेंशन किया था कि वो सेम पॉपुलेशन। So yes, उसमें भी yes, yeah. Have the authors taken account of the potential confounding factors in the design or in their analysis? For example, they're going to look for restriction in design techniques. I think यहाँ पे कुछ confounding factors जो address नहीं हो सके।
ये confounding का word भी use नहीं हुआ। आप लोग ज़्यादा पढ़ा होगा डिटेल्स में, लेकिन ये confounding का word तो बस mention होता है कि ये हमारे possible confounds हैं जिसको adjust करने के लिए हमने analysis को इस तरीके से एड्रेस किया। तो वो डॉक्टर काली और फलूद बैठे हैं जो कि अभी रिसेंटली अपना रिसर्च रिपोर्ट खत्म कर चुके हैं, हमें गाइड कर सकते हैं कि कंपाउंड्स को हम कैसे फिगर आउट कर सकते हैं और फिर कोई एडजस्टमेंट दे सकते हैं।
सर आपके लिए रखा हुआ है मैंने, इसके बाद आपकी बारी है। जी सर, ये टाइम है सर। एज यू लाइक।
Just running. Thank you so much, Dr. Sada. I think it's an excellent effort you put together, and it's not easy to understand some of this jargon. जहाँ पे jargon ज़्यादा आ जाता है वहाँ पे कुछ studies के अंदर you have to start looking at what is the actual meat. तो actual meat जो आप बताना चाह रही हैं ना, उसमें मुझे problem है. You are trying to say that there is a score on the CT scan which has, and if it's above a certain level, based on the ROC curves of sensitivity and specificity around 87-83%, that particular score has higher odds of predicting the mortality. अगर आप अपने multivariate analysis देखें गौर से, तो उसके अंदर आपने odds ratio 1.99 बताया ना, that seemingly appears like double odds of dying, right? Appears like that, no? 1.99. लेकिन look at the confidence interval. It's almost touching 1. It's 1.01. 1.01 से छोटा क्या होता है? 1.00 होता है। तो the 1.01 से लेके 4 तक उसका confidence interval है, which means it's a pretty imprecise effect. It's a wide confidence interval, and that odds ratio of 1.99 is not precise. So because it's almost touching 1, it could be almost as low as 1.01 real value. We are 95% confident that the real value could either be 1.01 or all the way up to 3.99, nothing more. So you don't know कि उसके दरमियान 1.99 के ऊपर इंसार करना है या 1.01 सही है या 1 या 3 सही है, ठीक है? That's one thing. एक ये हो गया। दूसरी चीज ये है कि आपका जो उसके अंदर जो सेंसिटिविटी एंड स्पेसिफिसिटी भी जो है उसके अंदर अगर आप देखें 87, 83, so the positive likelihood ratio of a finding and with a score like that is about 6 or so. When the positive likelihood ratio, which is sensitivity over 1 minus specificity, is more than 10, then you're much more likely to have a post-test probability of increasing your pre-test probability. Okay, pre-test probability, you know, based on the initial presentation, initial CT finding and all that. लेकिन वो जो अगर उसकी वो ROC कर्व्स को देखें आप, उसका जो भी कट ऑफ आ रहा है 7.5 जो भी, लेकिन उसके अंदर भी जो वो है आपका लाइक्लीहुड रेशियो पॉजिटिव ये है। अगर आप कहते हैं नेगेटिव लाइक्लीहुड रेशियो करें तो वो भी मोर देन 0.01 है। वो भी जो है आपका 1 माइनस सेंसिटिविटी और स्पेसिफिसिटी भी थोड़ा ज्यादा है। तो नेगेटिव लाइक्लीहुड रेशियो बहुत ज्यादा नहीं है टेस्ट का, ना पॉजिटिव लाइक्लीहुड रेशियो इतना ज्यादा है कि आपने यूजुअली जो कोई टेस्ट होता है उसका 10 से ऊपर हो ना, पॉजिटिव लाइक्लीहुड रेशियो, तो देन इट्स मच मोर लाइकली टू प्रेडिक्ट एन आउटकम। तो दूसरी चीजें ये थी कि इसमें ऑब्वियसली कंफाउंडर्स है, जितने भी जो भी सारी चीजें हैं उसको एडजस्ट करने के लिए या तो मैचिंग होती है या स्ट्रैटिफिकेशन होता है, मल्टीपल स्ट्रैटा में उसको कंपेयर करना, और या जो है आप उसको एडजस्टेड ऑफ एनालिसिस ऑफ कोवेरिएंस करते हैं, एंकोवा या एनालिसिस या दूसरा टर्म मैंकोवा। तो इन दोनों के अंदर जो कोवेरिएंट एनालिसिस और कंफाउंडर्स को आप एडजस्ट कर सकते हैं, तो एडजस्टेड एनालिसिस करके वो रिपोर्टिंग आती है, या आप सेंसिटिविटी एनालिसिस करके एक एक चीज निकाल के देखते हैं। तो पेपर मतलब ऑब्वियसली somebody has made an effort, somebody has done something, और जैसा आप कह रही थी कि रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव कोहॉर्ट भी कर सकते हैं आराम से, not necessarily it had to be a prospective study, but even just going back in time, look, standing here when the outcome has already occurred, but then going back in time and then again moving forward for a point of outcome of interest as a relative risk को भी किया जा सकता है। That's another way of doing it. That's fine. They did report case control, उस वक्त तो स्टडी इतनी नहीं थी, सारी चीजें थी। तो मेरे लिहाज से इसके अंदर the only thing is कि एक तो डॉक्टर मुबीन ने very correctly point out किया, वो सारे यूनिवर्सिटी एनालिसिस के अपने वो उसके वो थे ना साथ, मतलब एक एक फैक्टर they were obviously predictive and correlated with your CT finding, but multivariate में भी जो एक चीज आई उसका जो प्रिसाइसनेस ऑफ द इफेक्ट है ना वो imprecise है, broad है confidence interval and it's almost touching 1.01 the odds ratio. तो समझिए इसका मतलब ये स्टडीज से it's important not to get misled by literature ना। So the whole exercise I think is obviously to critically appraise and avoid getting misled. हमारे गुरु होते थे अभी भी मॉडर्न गाइड्स था, तो वो जब भी आते हैं वो ये लेक्चर उनका जरूर होता है टॉक होती है हाउ टू अवॉइड गेटिंग मिसलेड बाय लिटरेचर। तो हमारा पूरा ये आइडिया इधर है, यहाँ पे यही है, और एकेडमिक्स का, रिसर्च का, सबका सब मिलकर यही चीज कर रहे हैं कि वी शुड बी एबल टू सिफ्ट what we can really totally rely on from that which is vague. These are vagaries, and by design observational studies are a good attempt which are hypothesis generating, and then they set the tone for a future study. तो अब अगर ये स्कोर को देख के कोई फ्यूचर में कोई प्रोस्पेक्टिव कोहॉर्ट कोई करे या something like that would be one way of perhaps solving this riddle subsequently. या इसके अगर बहुत सारे अगर केसेस ऐसे लोगों ने किए हुए हैं तो उसका कोई मेटा एनालिसिस या सिस्टमैटिक रिव्यू ऑफ ऑब्जर्वेशनल डिजाइन्स भी होते हैं, वो भी कर सकते हैं। तो फिर आगे जाके हमें पता चलेगा क्या है, क्योंकि आई थिंक one major thing we realize in this disease is don't predict anything. It's so unpredictable. Either the CT finding, even your PCR being positive, negative. I mean, what does it mean? I mean, like in the light of how people present. I think is particular all those aspects that you mentioned are fine. It's important to also start thinking, what did that odds ratio really mean? वो 1.99 पे मिसाल करना है 1.0 उसको जाए वापस जाए तो उसमें if you just go back इधर structure sorry यहाँ पे stop नहीं है screen lock
simple chest X-ray से की जाए क्योंकि it is available everywhere. तो अगर हम chest X-ray के साथ करते हैं तो मुझे लगता है कि शायद उससे भी बहुत बड़ा फर्क नहीं आना था आपको CT finding। अगर आप चाहते तो एक मॉडल डेवलप कर सकते हैं। वो लोग जिसका प्रेजेंटेशन पे ये ड्यूरेशन है, यूज ऑफ ऑक्सीजन एंड सिम्टम्स ये हैं, और CT या चेस्ट एक्सरे पे स्कोर या फाइंडिंग्स ये हैं, that is the group which is going to be behaving in a very best manner. तो आपको, और हम क्लिनिकली सच्ची बात है ये हम यही कर रहे हैं, मतलब आप ER में आता है पेशेंट और पूछते हैं आपकी हिस्ट्री कितनी है, ड्यूरेशन कितनी है, पता चलता है सैचुरेशन इतनी है, ऑक्सीजन 4 लीटर पे 6 लीटर पे, एक्सरे की फाइंडिंग देखी या CT हो गया, हमें पता चल जाता है कि ये पेशेंट जो है इसमें बहुत एफर्ट होने वाली है, इससे को प्रोनी करनी पड़ेगी, बाईपास करवाना पड़ेगा वगैरह। वर्सेस वो कि स्टेबल आता है, चलता हुआ 2 लीटर के साथ 98% 96% यहाँ ज़्यादा काम नहीं करना पड़ेगा। चाहे एक्सरे की फाइंडिंग बात करता ज़्यादा बुरी थी, हमने ऐसे ही पेशेंट देखे हैं तो बात दफा सैचुरेशन नॉर्मल के साथ आते हैं और CT फाइंडिंग की अगर आप ग्रेडिंग करेंगी तो बहुत खराब था, और जैसे आपने मेंशन तो वहाँ भी शायद चांसेस नहीं है कि वो स्टैट्स या लंग से जो इससे काम कर रहे हैं सही, तो वो भी एक इम्पोर्टेंट है। तीसरा ये कि और जब भी केस कंट्रोल में करें ना, अगर जो भी इसको ट्रेस कर रहा है वो एक 2x2 टेबल जरूर बनाया करें, जिसको हम कंटिजेंसी टेबल कहते हैं। तो स्कोर आप खुद और ट्रेस कैलकुलेट करें और फिर ये मॉडलिंग जो है ये भी और ट्रेस कैलकुलेट वो ऑड रेशियो जो कि 10 से ऊपर जाती हैं, 15 से ऊपर जाती हैं, दे आर वेरी तगड़ी ऑड रेशियो अलॉन्ग विद 4 to 3 स्प्रेड के। लेकिन 1 या 2 वाली ऑड रेशियो जो होती हैं वो बहुत ज्यादा इफेक्टिव नहीं, खुद ही आप देख सकते हैं। Order of 1 means that there is no difference between the groups. Simple as that. And if you are very close to odds of 1, that means that your results are not very बड़ा impact नहीं create करेंगे in terms of management, diagnosis. Like if your odds are 10, very away from 1, then the likelihood of having an impact is much higher. So this is one way of understanding case difference.
So, which slide were you?
वो जिसमें वो कॉन्फिडेंस इंटरवल मल्टीवेरिएट का
वो
1.01 करके लिखा है।
So, you know that?
ये
पीछे का
लिखा हुआ है।
Results में था।
1.99 के लिखा हुआ।
जी सर, odds ratio का ये
अब आप देखिए मतलब 1.01 से लेके 4.06 के अंदर truth lies somewhere between that. The truth could be an odd ratio of 4 or truth can be an odd ratio of only 1.06 to 1.1. Or if it's wide है तो I don't know what to make of 1.99. I'd be much more happy if that 1.99 was around the confidence interval of 1.7 to 2.3, for instance. Rather precise होता है. So that is all. I mean, all it says is that maybe the sample को ज़्यादा होता है, controls को ज़्यादा ले जाते, ज़्यादा well उसकी matching हुई होती restriction या the forms of matching, तो फिर शायद वो ज़्यादा बड़ी strength of association आती है, because observational designs are only they are hypothesis generating. They are for associations, but for causation, the strength of association must be very high for you to think कि causation है. अगर if you want to say कि हाँ ये causation है, इसमें ये आप वाकई ये चीज़ एक factor है जो predict कर रहा है mortality, then that strength of association should have been like 6, 7, 8, 9 odds ratio. फिर हम कहते हो ये तो even though it's an observational study, it's showing up a very strong trend. That's all we do. ठीक है, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So we conclude today's session. So please, sir.
Thank you. All the best. Thank you so